Hello, friends. So, today we'll be starting on chapter 2 of Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. The title of chapter 2 is Consciousness, the Way Out of Pain, a guide to ending the suffering of the unobserved mind. So, most of our pain is completely unnecessary. We are about to explore something radical. The majority of suffering we experience daily isn't caused by our circumstances. It is created by something we rarely notice, our unobserved mind running on autopilot. So, the problem is, right now in this very moment, many of us are carrying emotional wounds from years ago, old hurts, past rejections, the childhood pains, and here's what's happening: we are adding to that pile every single day without realizing it. But consciousness, true awareness, offers a way out. Not a way to avoid pain, a way to stop creating it. Think about the last time we replayed an argument in our heads for hours afterwards. The actual event lasted maybe 10 minutes, but our minds turned it into hours of suffering, maybe years of suffering. That is the unobserved mind at work. How much of our daily suffering comes from what's actually happening versus what our minds are doing with what happened? So, consciousness is the beginning of freedom. So, we have been taught that pain is just a part of life. That's only half true. Yes, some pain is unavoidable, the physical injury, the loss, the grief, but here's what we don't see: we are manufacturing additional pain constantly, and it's not external, it's internal. This happens in two ways. On the thought level, our minds are constantly judging: this is good, this is bad, this shouldn't be happening, why is this happening to me? On the emotional level, that judgment turns into negativity, frustration, resentment, anxiety, anger. And here's the mechanism: the pain we create always comes from one source: resistance to what is right now. We are unconsciously fighting reality. The moment we see this pattern, something shifts. We are no longer trapped inside it. So imagine we are stuck in traffic. The traffic itself is just reality, cars not moving. But our minds add layers. This is terrible. I am going to be late. Why does this always happen to me? The universe is against me. We have just called we have just created 15 minutes of internal suffering on top of 15 minutes of sitting still. So when something unwanted happens today, can we notice the difference between the event itself and our resistance to it? Resistance to what is creates unnecessary pain every time. So the amount we suffer isn't determined by what happens. It's determined by how much we resist what happens. This slide shows us something powerful. On the left, total identification with our thinking mind, maximum resistance. On the right side, acceptance of the present moment, minimal resistance, freedom. When we are completely identified with our minds, we suffer intensely. Every disappointment feels catastrophic. Every delay feels personal. Every criticism feels like attack. Why? Because the mind is designed to reject the now, it lives in past and future, regretting what was, fearing what might be. The present moment feels threatening to it. But the more we accept this moment as it is, not liking it necessarily, just accepting it, that it exists, the freer we become. The intensity of our pain decreases in direct proportion to our acceptance. So many of us have experienced this. We are dealing with a difficult situation, maybe a health issue or relationship conflict. One day we are in total resistance. This can't be happening. This is ruining everything. We are miserable. Then something shifts. We accept it. Okay, this is what's happening. The situation hasn't changed, but our suffering drops dramatically. What if our level of suffering is actually under the control through this one shift, moving from resistance to acceptance? Freedom isn't found in perfect circumstances. It's found in accepting what is. Our minds are running from this moment. Always. It's running away from this moment. Here's something most of us have never considered. The mind cannot function without time. It needs past and future to exist. And because of this, it perceives the timelessness now, this present moment, as a threat. So mind always perceives this right now present moment as an attack, as a threat. Think about how minds operate. They are constantly covering up right now with memories of the past or fantasies about the future. Remember when this happened? What if that happens? Mind is always somewhere else, never here. And when it does touch the present moment, it immediately tries to use it as stepping stone to get to something else, some future moment that only exists in imagination. This is how our true nature gets obscured, hidden. The infinite creative potential that exists right here, right now, is covered by mental time. But nature doesn't live in time. Imagine the earth without humans, just animals and plants. Would they be worried about yesterday? Planning for next week? The oak tree exists now. The eagle exists now. That's all there is. So we have all experienced moments where time disappeared. Maybe it's during beautiful sunset or fully absorbed in some creative activity or holding someone we love. In those moments, the mind stopped. There was just presence, just now. And it felt completely natural. How often in our daily lives are we actually here versus lost in mental time? The mind needs time to survive, but we don't. What time is it right now? The only answer that ever true is now. It's always now. That might sound obvious, but we live as if it's not true. We live as if the past and future are real places we can inhabit, we can live in. Humans have accumulated an enormous burden of time in our minds, individually and collectively. We carry the past with us everywhere. We carry the past with us, the old pain, the old stories, the old identities, and we project futures that haven't happened and may never happen. This accumulation of time weighs us down. It obscures the vitality that's available right here. But look at the nature. If we ask the oak tree, what time is it? It would be very confused by the question. Time is now. What else could it possibly be? We need our minds, and we need time for the practical things, for appointments, for planning, for learning. But there comes a point where they take over, where we lose access to the present moment. And that's where our dysfunction begins. That's where the problem begins. Many of us have spent entire days where we never actually arrived. We got up thinking about our to-do list, we showered planning what to say in the meeting, we ate lunch reviewing what's happened that morning, we drove home rehearsing a conversation for later. The whole day passed and we were never actually present for any of it. What would it be like to experience even 1 hour where we are fully here for it? The present moment isn't one moment amongst many, it is the only moment there is. So now the pain body. We are carrying an invisible entity inside us. Every time we experience emotional pain, without full awareness, it leaves behind residue, and that residue doesn't disappear. It merges with pain from past, including childhood wounds, and it becomes lodged in our body and mind. This accumulated pain forms what we can think of as an entity, a pain body. That's what we discussed in the yesterday's video. Bhagavad Gita calls it Samskara. This isn't abstract. We can actually feel it. It's a negative energy field that occupies our system. And it has 2 modes, dormant and active. For some of us, it sleeps most of the time, maybe 90% dormant. For others who are deeply unhappy, it might be active constantly. So when it's dormant, sleeping, we might not notice it. But when something triggers it, like a comment, a memory, or a situation that echoes old pain, it wakes up. And here's what's critical. This pain body includes everything we suffered as children, caused by the unconsciousness of the world we were born into. It is not our fault, but it is inside us. The first step is simply to know it exists, not as something to fight, but as something to observe. Think about those moments when a small thing sets off a huge reaction in us. Someone makes an innocent remark and suddenly we are furious or devastated. The intensity doesn't match the trigger. That's the pain body activated, the old pain finding a correct excuse to express itself. Can we feel where emotional pain lives in our body? Is there a place where our old hurt seems to reside?